Welcome back to Adventures with Rosie. If you saw the last video, we got all our pine trees taken out on the bottom of our property. And oh my gosh, what have we done? Oh. So that intro was a little dramatic, I know. We were expecting some cleanup. We were expecting quite a bit of cleanup, to be honest. I don't think I was expecting a brush pile this big. I'm going to sift through this and get some firewood out of it eventually, but yeah, first things first, we did have to take a fence down to get the logging trucks in. And we had to take another fence down for that last tree you would have seen in the last video that came down. We had to take another wire fence down. And then one of the trees that fell this way actually clipped the fence over that side and smashed it. But because I'd taken half that fence down, it was already quite slack. So it did smash a post, so I've got to dig a post out and put a post in. But yeah, time to get my fencing on. These soft little IT hands are going to learn how to fence this afternoon. I went into Farmlands, a store here in New Zealand, and was way out of my depth. And bought some fencing supplies. So yeah, we're going to reinstate the fence because that's the neighbour's gully that she leases, and she has horses she grazes in there, so we'll reinstate the fence. Oh, and then I don't even know where to begin. Picking up pine cones, I guess. I got no idea. Chainsawing up firewood. There's some gum over here as well. There was 2 gum trees here, and I paid the guy a bit of cash on the side to ring them up for me because my chainsaw's only a little baby chainsaw, and the biggest gum, which I'll show you here, was pretty big across these big rounds here. This was the bottom log that came out of the gums. So he ringed it all up for me, which was very good, I think. It would have taken me weeks. And at some stage we'll bring a splitter in here and split all this wood, because that's a lot of firewood there. Also some scrappy pines that were left over there that we couldn't sell. So yeah, we'll chop those up and split them as well. And grass, maybe one day. Lots of cleanup to do. Alright, let's get into some fencing. Alright, we were up bright and early this morning, Saturday morning. I say bright and early, it's 9 o'clock. But the goal today is to clean up the gully here. So there used to be a fence that ran down here. We need to relocate the fence holes. I think they've been filled in when the trucks have been coming in and out. But reinstate this fence and reinstate the gully, which is leased by our neighbour, which I've said a few times I think already. Need to clean up this bank here, put another fence up there. So we've got lots of fencing supplies in the car, lots of tools. There's some broken rails down here as well I need to fix. But yeah, the goal is to get the neighbour back as she was a week ago and happy, and then we can worry about our paddock later. She's happy actually. She's been really good. We've been talking to her throughout the whole process, and we're going to let her graze some of our land up here, I think, just as a bit of a sorry we made such a mess. But she's thrilled to have the trees down. Yeah, she's been really good, really happy. So we're just going to rake it, make it look nice, get all the pine cones and crap out of there that we don't want the horses standing on, and yeah, start chipping away at it. I think I probably won't help today, I'll just be cameraman. Perfect. High up in the sky.
High up in the sky.
Alright, well we're 10 minutes in and it started to rain, and the forecast says rain all weekend. So yeah, you hate the rain, Ruby? So I'm going to put the camera down and we're just going to soldier on and we'll catch up with you when it stops raining. Well, our poor fence got a bit of a hammering here, and this stick here is actually off a pine tree. It's embedded itself down into the bank. So yeah, I guess I better try and pull it out. We've been finding a lot of pine cones in under the dirt, really hard pine cones, so that's why we've been raking so much to kind of, we don't want any horses to stand on them and go lame or anything, so we've been just trying to rake them all out. Oh, gonna be fit by the end of this project. Oh. Well, the rain has stopped and there's some blue sky on the way, which is awesome. I had no joy trying to find the original holes for these fence posts. There were trucks came in and out of here and that big excavator you saw, so yeah, I've just been digging new ones. I spent probably as much time trying to find them as I could have just to dig new post holes. So a couple of post holes in here. I've set myself up a little plumb line. I've seen builders do that, so yeah, we're learning a new skill today, fencing. We've got to go all the way down that fence line to where those gates are in the background there, and then we've got some ratchets and stuff to attach to it, so making progress slowly. And we haven't even begun to look at our paddock yet. We just want to clean this bit up. In the last video, when I learned to use my chainsaw, I talked about how I'm available for contract chainsaw work. If you've got any trees that you need felling, I'm your man. Fencing as well. If anyone needs any fencing doing, I'm your guy. Alright, so fence update. I spent the day yesterday in the rain. It was absolutely pouring down here. I put my jacket on and dug all the post holes out and stood the fence back up. So Chelsea and I have just been tightening the old ratchet, I don't know what you call them, fence strainers on the end. There's quite a few broken battens in the fence, these smaller posts here, from where the tree hit it and stuff, but we're going to just fix them all up at the end. We just bought a pack of them. I think it's probably maybe 10 of them that are broken. We'll just go around and nail up, but yeah, posts are in. We're just getting all the tension right. It's not looking too terrible, but there are some spots we need to pull the wire through and crank it all up. It's a bit terrifying, like cranking the fence tight and hearing it all creaking and pinging, and yeah, because we don't know what we're doing. But yeah, I'm sick of this project. We haven't even touched our bottom paddock, I think, as I've probably been saying this whole time. But I'm kind of happy with this gully. It's starting to look a bit cleaner. We threw all the pine cones over our side of the fence. We just didn't want the horses to stand on any of those. So we'll pick all those up. Birds are out. They've been picking through the ground. We'll fix that fence up the top there. There's another fence we need to fix. Probably tomorrow, and then start tackling our paddock. So I'm going to get back to fencing. I lied to you actually about there not being any progress in our paddock here. We had a local guy who's an owner-operator of a big remote control stump grinder. Pretty cool looking machine. We got him to quote us on pulling all these stumps out. Now, they don't look so bad, the ones in the corner, and we are planning to plant this corner. We got some nice big trees to put in here. But some of these stumps come quite far out, like 5-6 meters out from the fence. So in order to give us a bit more paddock, we're going to get sort of some of these ones on the flat ground out, and then we're going to leave the ones on the bank over there because they're actually obviously holding that bank together. So we'll leave those stumps, we'll plant around them, but we got a couple of big trees that have been growing up the top here that we're going to transplant down here. Some dawn redwoods. It's the smallest of the 3 species of redwood tree, but they still get to about 30 meters. So we're going to pop a couple in the corner here and kind of hide the neighbor's house over there. We can see houses from our deck we have never been able to see before, so do a little planting in this corner, get a bit of height, and then try and find the grass underneath here one day. Might just have to start cleaning up. I think we're just going to have to start from the fence and start working our way back and just chip away at it, because it's going to be a big job. Look how big this pile is. Like, it's massive. I've been so tempted just to set this pile on fire the last few days. But we just ticked over into November, and I think that means fire ban here for us. We're in summer here in New Zealand, so yeah, I don't know. Problem for another day. Alright, so Chelsea and I are doing a bit of prep work for all the pine cones we're going to be inundated with. The kids are going to sell the pine cones next winter in bags at the gate to raise pocket money. Harvey's got his eyes set on this quite expensive Lego set, a train, and so we told him, you know, if he wants to sell pine cones, the money's his, he can buy things with it, even though Chelsea and I are putting in the hard work. And by Chelsea and I mean mostly Chelsea. But what we're aiming to do is build bins like we've built over there. We built a prototype one there out of some old pallets to store the pine cones in. How long do you reckon it took us to fill that bin there?
Half an hour?
That was maybe half an hour's work to fill that the other day. We thought we'd just build one bin for pine cones. No joke, we filled that in half an hour just with buckets up and down the hill. So how many more are we going to build? 10? 20. We're going to keep going until we run out of all these old pallets we've salvaged from the property actually, so it's pretty handy. But yeah, hopefully the kids are motivated to pick them all up because they can make a killing next winter with the number of pine cones in there. Well, excuse how dishevelled I look. I've been climbing up and down this pile all morning. But it's been about a week since we last picked the camera up. Chelsea and I have been down here in the evenings, and believe it or not, we've been picking wood out of this pile. All this wood you can see here, we've dragged out of the pile. And we're finding a lot of firewood in there. I am starting to lose enthusiasm with my quest to get all the usable wood out of that pile for firewood. But there is a lot of branches that are really awesome for mulching, so we've been stacking them up in piles around the bottom of the hill here. We're going to hire a mulcher one day and just run it through, so all these piles are ready, they're all the sticks are stacked the same way. Hire a mulcher for a day and just run everything through and get a whole lot of wood chips out of it, which we'll use for planting and stuff later on. But yeah, my initial thought was I'd pull all the usable firewood out of this pile. I know we're kind of inundated with firewood down here. The pine will burn next year in 2023, the gum will be the year after. It's probably a year and a half's worth of gum in here, so the firewood I'm pulling out now, 2025 maybe, but yeah, I don't know. I keep thinking I'll just come down here and throw a match on it, burn it down, but then at the same time I'm like, firewood, you know, a winter here might be $1,000, $1,200 for us to buy firewood in, so is it worthwhile me picking some out? So yeah. We are getting a little bit close to the fire ban starting as well, so I'm going to see how much I can pull out today, and then I think we'll just, whatever's left we're going to burn. We'll burn this sucker down and then think about planting some stuff in its place. The stump grinder also came this week and ground out all the stumps that were down on the flat here. We left the ones in the bank just to hold that bank up. This is the bank we're going to plant. We're going to plant this entire thing in New Zealand native trees and bushes. But yeah, ground out all the ones down here on the flat, which is awesome. Did a pretty cool job. Did some ones over there too. So starting to take shape. It's starting to look a bit tidier. There's grass trying to come through. Yeah, I think once we've burnt this pile, we're going to just get into some planting to make ourselves feel better. And yeah, like I said, lots of native trees. We want to get encourage a lot of bird life here, but also our bees. We want to get some beehives in the future down here. So we're just going to cover this bank in native trees and bushes, and over here in the corner as well. So that's the kind of grand plan. Will it happen before Christmas? Who knows? But yeah, I think if we get this pile burnt and rake the ash out, I'm going to start feeling a lot better about the space down here. Well, it's been probably a month since I last picked up the camera. I've just kind of been slogging away. I also realized when I was looking at this footage, you can't kind of tell the scale of this pile, but hopefully you can zoomed out here. You can see a lot of huge timber in there, and that's predominantly what I've been doing. I've basically been working my way back into the pile, chopping, so there's all the kind of sticks sticking out of it, which I'll show you down here actually, and I've just been chopping firewood off as it kind of sticks out and then dragging brush out, and I've probably gone in maybe 2 meters. The pile probably came out to here. I've probably gone in 2 meters, and yeah, haven't burnt it. I've thought about it every day, but if you have a look at this here, you see all these limbs kind of stick out like this, and what I basically do is I come in, I pull some brush out, and I just cut bits of firewood off all these limbs, and we've been getting like tons of firewood. Our shed is probably, I don't know, maybe a quarter full at the moment of just firewood I got out of here. There's logs that are, you know, the size of trees in here, but yeah, tons of wood. I'm going to keep chipping away at it. It's soaking wet. We've had 2 weeks of rain here in Taupo, but yeah, it's after Christmas. We're a week out from Christmas, so I'm going to leave this probably until, yeah, much later in the new year. One good thing though with all this rain we've been having is that the grass is been coming back in down the bottom here. So all this was dirt when we first started at the start of this video, and grass has come back in. I should say as well, we sold the logs and got the figures for those. So next video we'll do a quick little catch up on how much the log sold for, where all the money went, and did we make any money. We made a little bit of money, so yeah, we'll share that. We've also been doing some planting. That'll be a couple videos time. We planted out that bank. Tons of New Zealand natives going on in there, which is, it's good. It's good to see grass, natives planted. Yeah, I mean, it's almost mowable now if you look at this here. There are still big bits of bark and pine cones all through it. This sort of stuff here, I guess the mower's not going to like that sort of thing, so still lots of cleanup to happen, but it's coming along. I'll go and show you the pine cones as well. The amount of pine cones we pulled out of this place is pretty amazing. Bit hard to see up here as well, but we got some new neighbours. They're a bit skittish, but there are 7 sheep next door, which is pretty cool. The kids love that. I'm pretty tempted to see if I can't let them graze some area in here at some stage. This is the gully back here, the council gully, and it's kind of grassed up nicely as well. You would have seen at the start of this video down in that flat bit of the gully there was all dirt and bark, but yeah, it's grassing up. Neighbour's been grazing it, so yeah, done lots of planting. Pine cones, alright, let's go see those. So this is the pine cone situation. The kids each have a bin. They are chocker. We built another 3 bins over here for the rest of them, so we're still busy picking those up, but yeah, some awesome pine cones in here. The kids, once we painted their names on the front of the bins, they got a bit more enthusiastic about filling them up, so they're going to be making some good money, I think, in the next winter. They want to sell them now, but I don't think people will buy them now, so next winter. Well, thank you for watching. I know this video was a bit all over the place. I realized as I started editing it the other night that a lot of stop-start, and sometimes it's difficult to do. Sometimes you just need to put the camera down and just get on with it, you know, grind some work out. But yeah, I mean, still a bit of an eyesore, as you can see down the bottom, but things are starting to green up, so I'm happy. So in terms of videos, I know this will probably come out the Thursday before Christmas, which is probably terrible timing to put a video up, but we'll do a quick video about the money for the logs, and if anyone's interested, and then a video about the planting, and also heaps of caravan videos coming up. So we're going our way for Christmas in the caravan. We're just getting loaded up now actually, and then obviously our South Island trip in January. Big trip around the South Island. Our itinerary is looking pretty awesome, so make sure you stay tuned for those. And you'll see in another video before Christmas, hopefully.